The heroes approached the strange door laid into the base of the rocky cliff below the derelict castle. Tess attempted the door, but triggered a trap that sprayed her and Ianfear with a cone of flame. The heroes stepped through the doorway just before the animated statues that were chasing them could catch up. Inside the door, a stairway led down to a long hallway with a door at the opposite side. As the four came through the entrance to the hallway, a gate slammed shut behind them and a gray ooze began seeping through the ceiling. A grinding noise could be heard as a pit opened before the door at the other end of the hallway. The friends easily outran the ooze down the hallway and quickly disabled the three locks on the door. Another stairway led to the floor above, and another puzzle, a riddle, on a blank wall, which Tess figured out with ease. She smeared her own blood on the wall, and a copy of Tess was produced and began to attack. The friends were able to make short work of the doppelganger. Yet another set of stairs lay beyond the now visible entryway. The stone staircase led to a different room this time, a banquet hall, warmly lit, and a table set for dinner. A strange woman stepped through the opposite door. The lady invited the heroes to sit and talk over dinner. She insisted that Scriteau and the other Kenku were free to come and go as they please, and she even seemed to know how Talanith came to be in the mirrored planes, as she was also trapped there by Musnir Drak. Regarding the magical disease, however, she implied that the summoner Falkrun Drak may have been the one responsible. The lady informed the party that the next floor would have several more challenges over which she has no control. But should they overcome them, the heroes are invited to join the lady at the castle above, where all would be made clear. Welcome back to New Dalancia, our Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition homebrew campaign. I am your most gracious DM and forgiving and inspirational and handsome as well, handsome dungeon master.
Got that high charisma going for you.
I'm so humble.
I'm VGpunx. It's good to see you guys. I hope everybody's having a great day because we're having a wonderful day. Well, at least I am. I can't really speak for others, but and I won't. I won't do that. A couple of quick updates. The new art for the Kenku Scriteau is in. I don't know if you want to pull that up. Or actually, you know, I can fucking do it. I'm not unable to do that. I'm just going to show that really quick, just because I think it's really cool. Right there, it is. Yeah, new artwork where Scriteau is in. We have traded out that default Kenku artwork from the D&D books. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully you're going to get some other artwork done in the future, but I think I'm going to stick with the same artist. I really like their stuff and how everything's coming out. Yeah, otherwise, we left off last time with a quick meeting. I mean, it was pretty quick meeting with the lady over a strange dinner. And you guys left off in this sort of banquet hall. As the lady left, she exited through a door on the opposite side of the room. And as soon as she did, the entire room kind of turned to sort of more mute colors. The lights went out in the room, and all you had left was Talanis' torch, lighting this entire kind of banquet hall. Tables now empty. Fireplace looks like it had been out for years. Perhaps the entire thing an illusion.
Well, I think first things first, like especially oh, did I put it in there? Good. Uh I'll at least try to get a little more light in the area and use my prestidigitation cantrip to light any, at least if there's any other surfaces like candles or whatever to light up.
I'm not sure how long it's been in game, but Tess had her holy weapon going, and that was a source of light.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. You did have that as well. So the room is still fairly lit. Just everything is gone. Like the actual lighting of the rest of the room is gone as well.
But essentially everything
Yolanthe,
kind of looks, yeah.
Yolanthe, you finally sort of creep in through the door from the staircase that led up. There were these two puzzle chambers before, but you've been keeping your distance this entire time and finally kind of creep in through the door. So everybody else that's inside, you see kind of a wolf push this door open a little bit and just kind of creep inside. You all know this to be Yolanthe because the
Am I late for dinner?
Tess is afraid you may be a little late.
Oh, I don't think I actually said that out loud. I think I just kind of barked.
Yolanthe, welcome in. Tess believes that we were maybe going to have a wee nap. Because we were talking about resting last time before we head
stand
out.
over by Tess.
Tess gives her a little ear scritch.
And be like, I'm sorry, you just missed out on the beef.
Phelan, looking a little bit nervous, peers around and says, if you lot would like to sleep, I will keep watch. I am uneasy in these surroundings at best.
Offering a big yawn, Tess is going to say, thank you so much. Tess could really use a big nap after everything, and we do. At least it sounds like we have a big adventure ahead of us.
Especially in the castle. Who knows what challenges could lay just getting up there.
Indeed. I'd like to cut over to Rec for a moment. Rec, welcome back. It's good to see you, man.
Hi.
You awaken back on the ship. The memory of these, like this combat that happened between you and your mirrored self, just seems like a distant memory. But as you awaken, there's a knock on the door to your chamber.
Yeah.
You hear the doorknob turn and the door slowly creaks open as the familiar face of Antarius, followed by Kimrim Godbury. I'm just gonna put those pictures up there because because I can. So here's the character artwork for Antarius. Walks into the room. Kimrim, who character artwork is here. Suit. Antarius. He kind of pulls his hand up to the back of his neck and looks thoughtful for a moment before he says, I think maybe you might have experienced the whole, well, it's hard to explain, but I found myself and the rest of us back in the past. That wasn't a dream.
It wasn't. I was about to say that I had the weirdest dream, but if you had it too, I
didn't see you there.
I was still at home. I don't know what was going on.
I see. Well,
I remember a fire and stopping some demons and then I was back at home, and I don't know. It was rather confusing.
For us, we had an altercation with Healthius, as it were. He seems to have stolen away some artifacts that could be of some import and may also explain the traveling through time, as it were. I don't know. The entire thing makes me uncomfortable, frankly, but that's not why I'm here.
Is the mirror still here?
Yes,
Okay.
that's actually why I'm here. We haven't heard anything from the remaining party, but Kimrim here has brought some artifacts that might help. And also a spellcaster. She's accompanied by a dwarf who's laid in these like very thick fur robes. They're like fur-lined robes, and they have these runes kind of embedded into the material. And he kind of like raises up a hand. Hello. Yes, Kimrim says. We have a plan to send you to the rest of the party if you're willing.
Sure. I mean, look around, pick up any of my stuff. I'm like, did they go through the mirror?
They did.
Okay.
And she digs around in a pocket and pulls out this small ornate case. It's metallic in nature. It has like very fine gold trimming on it, and she pops it open, and the lid of this thing kind of folds back, and you see these kind of larger metallic rings with these stones embedded in them. A couple of them are actually quite large. They look like they could fit around maybe around your wrist, but you don't know how you'd get your hand through them, as they are metal and they are not given to bending or anything like that. They are kind of laid with these runes and jewels in them. The rest of them are just various kind of like earrings, rings, things of that nature. Each of these is meant for a specific member of your team, as well as one that we have already given to Antarius here. Antarius sort of gestures up toward his ear, and you now notice that he has this sort of jewelry affixed to sort of around his ear. It's not like an earring, but it's more like this like kind of intricate looking metal ring that kind of snaps onto his ear. If you'll take the one of these and affix it wherever you please, these should allow you to communicate even across planes of existence. Basically, you have your choice of any of these things that are in this box. It looks like there are various rings that could fit on various body parts. Whatever you'd like. Kimrim goes on. If you touch the jewel, it'll activate the spell that is enchanted to it, allowing you to speak to the other people in your team. Give it a try.
All right. Rec goes, okay. And he closes his eyes and reaches inside to randomly find something.
So what you pull out is a ring that fits just about your like finger. So you can put it on either hand. It's got a jewel that's embedded in it that that you can touch, and you can then speak into to send a message to your teammates.
Nah, and he tosses it back. It keeps going.
Okay. So there's another one that's like an earring. That's like a big hoop sort of fixture. It looks like it might be a tunnel that you could place into your ear.
Does it look like Anthurius's?
Antarius's fits like around his ear. There is another one of those in the box, though, if you'd like it.
No, I was just making sure it didn't look like his. I'm like,
Oh, no,
all right,
yeah, no, it doesn't.
not copying. All right, and I look at it and I just kind of and insert it.
It fits.
See how it fits
perfectly.
Okay. Like
it's almost
okay.
like this was made for you.
Not bad. All right. So I tap on it with my finger a couple of times. Hello.
And
Hello.
Darius touches the jewel on his earpiece and says, I can hear you. That's incredible.
Well, we're standing right next to each other. I would hope so.
You can kind of hear Antarius's voice like in your mind as well as in the room. It's kind of off-putting.
Oh, that's weird.
I love Rick.
All right. That's weird.
We have a plan to send you to the rest of your friends.
Okay.
I suppose I'll turn this over to our friend here, and the dwarf in the cloak. I am prepared to send you. However, the trip could be uncomfortable, if you understand. It is frontier magic, not refined.
Is that like hiding in the back of a small cart, getting across the border?
I'm going to go with yes.
They had to put a whole bunch of boxes on top of me.
What I need from you is to close your eyes and imagine your friend. And think about what they look like and what they mean to you. Make it a deep inward connection. I'd like you to go ahead and roll a wisdom check.
Oh God. Let's see. Okay. Click wisdom. Ability check. Here we go.
Yep.
As I sit and I concentrate really hard on the group, and the last time I seen them was in the building with when we were fighting like doppelgangers of ourselves, and the feeling that they could be in trouble and they really needed me there. Do I roll with normal or advantage?
Roll normal.
Okay.
Roll normal. Rek, as you close your eyes, you feel this sort of warmth wash over your body. You feel the floor and the floor and your surroundings kind of just wash away as your feet feel almost like they're floating in the air, but you still have like your balance overall. Like you still feel like you are on your feet, so to speak.
Let me spend my inspiration.
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right. Just because I'm not happy with that one. Yeah, even worse. I love it. Let's go.
Worse. Okay. So same thing. The warmth washes over you. You feel the floor kind of pull out from underneath your feet, but you never lose your balance at all, and you feel yourself sort of whisked into this jet flow. It's almost like air just blowing past you, but it doesn't harm you in any way. As you instinctively open your eyes, you see multitudes of color just flying past you. It's kind of roll a Constitution check.
Saving throw or ability check?
That would be a saving throw.
Okay.
Actually, we can make it an ability check, but
oh God,
I like that outcome. For a moment, your stomach is gurgling, and you're like, you hold it all in. These colors flying past you. You've definitely been on worse rides than this. One time, you recall there was a certain boar who you happened to grapple on top of, not knowing that the thing would kick and try to throw you off. And you remember the experience of that gurgling feeling in your stomach and how you just kind of suppressed it. And that comes in handy now, as finally this bright light overtakes you. Go ahead and roll a dexterity save.
I was about to say, because otherwise it seems like the path is certainly not showing any signs that it is slowing.
Oh, yeah. For the rest of the party, you are in a chamber that has a table and chairs and all sorts of things. And this sort of weird void just kind of cracks open right above the floor, probably about 10 feet above the floor. And out of it, a backflipping wreck, like flips, lands on his feet, like square, and then stands up before you.
I'm looking around.
Team Fear is going to give a slow golf clap.
Tess is gonna
Rick.
join in with the clapping on that one.
Rec raises his hands out. Ta-da! And then looks around.
Usually we got to pay money to see that at the circus.
How did you get here?
Well,
Are you
I
really
was sitting in my bed. I woke up from a bad dream, and I thought you guys were in trouble. And this guy came in and he gave me this this box, and I picked out a thing. See, and I point towards my ear, and I put it in, and I heard Antarius talking at the same time, but it sounded like there were two of them, like that. Like Enrico Stereo, that one bard I heard up in that one town, and it sounded like there were two of them at the same time. And then there was some magic, and he told me to think of y'all and concentrate really hard. And I didn't think I'd get here because I was thinking of Enrico Stereo for a while, and then I tried to remember that y'all were in trouble. Now I'm here.
Rec, in your possession, you still have the box full.
Yeah,
of
I'm holding it in my hand.
Artifacts.
Like, here you go, and I just pass it to Tess.
Inside this box, there are a bunch of different types of debris, but there looks like there are a couple of these bands that look like they might fit over one of your horns.
Tess immediately drops the box and she's going to rush and give Rek the biggest hug that she can. Rek, Tess missed you so much.
The box hits the ground and it shuts with a click.
Rec picks her up off the ground, just kind of shakes her.
Yolanthe picks the box up in her
It's a
mouth.
bear hug.
Team Fear is going to say, maybe that's what gave you the strength to knock open that door, was to figure out if we would see Rek or not.
This is true. Now, what is it about new jewelry?
Yolanthe picks the box up in her mouth.
Tess will reach out toward the box to open it back up and spy all the goodies inside.
As you're doing that, Valphalin approaches you, Rec, and he places his hand on your shoulder and says, the entire team back together. I, too, am glad to see you.
Rec reaches up, slaps him on the back, and like, good to see you too, buddy. Hey, I had a weird dream. Did you fight yourself?
I'm afraid that may not have been a dream. It is a challenging story to tell, but the end of the story is that we must find the wizard Helthius and understand what he has done to manipulate the timeline.
Whatever you say, man, that was just a weird dream.
Agreed.
That's all I'm saying. It was weird.
We will cross that bridge or burn it, when we get there. For now, yes. What is it you have?
Tess is going to take a look into the chest and a bunch of jewelry.
Among the jewelry is sort of like a band of metal that looks like it might actually affix around one of your horns. There appear to be two of those. Now Phelan actually grabs one and affixes it to his horn. Something that might help with combat?
Seeing what Val did, Tess is going to mimic him and put one around her right horn.
It slides on easily, and as you do, you accidentally touch the crystal that's embedded in the metal, and for a moment you hear sort of a static in your ear. Hello, Rec. Rec, did you make it? You hear the clear voice of Antarius.
Tess is going to look around in a panic.
Captain, I hear you.
Is Antharius here too?
No, I'm still on board the ship.
So this is what Rec meant by hearing two of you.
Are you still touching the jewel at this point?
No, because she doesn't know to touch it. She's just talking in the air.
Can you still hear me? Hello?
Hello?
You have to touch the jewel in order to talk back.
Oh. Tess will put her thumb and index finger kind of like grasp the jewel and say, hello?
Make sure that that all of the party is wearing one of the jewelry pieces. I don't know what we're calling them yet. I'm not sure that we have a name for them, but
oh, okay. She says while touching the jewel. And then she'll pass the box to Ian Fear and say, you pick next. Supposedly, we all need these fancy pieces of jewelry so we can talk to each other.
Ian Fear is going to look through the box, but he's going to be looking like basically with an appraising eye to find something that sort of would fit with his outfit.
Yolanthe walks up to Rec and sniffs at him and then wags her tail and barks happily.
Hey, the dog made it. Hi, dog. Rec looks in his pack, sees like if he can find some rations. Be like, here you go.
Oh yeah, there are rations there. So Rec pulls out some rations. Looks like some dried meat.
Yolanthe takes it and scarfs it down.
I made plenty of fish back on the ship.
Fish jerky. Delicious. And full of omega-3.
Rec always comes prepared.
Gotta eat.
You don't like it, Yolanthe?
Huh? Oh, no, that was me, like, out of character. Being like, ugh.
Oh, fish jerky. Fish jerky. All right. So you are able to find jewelry for pretty much anywhere you'd like to affix it. And there are even extra pieces in there that maybe you could give to others.
Ian Fear is going to look at one of them and be like, I hope this doesn't fit where I think it fits, as he looks downward. And then
it absolutely fucking does. These kind of things are pretty common in dwarven society. And you kind of roll your eyes and like, yeah, not using that one.
Will somebody attach one to my paw or something?
There is one that looks like it might go over your paw. There is also like an earring that you could wear, or a necklace.
So I think,
necklace.
So he's probably going to attach it to the find one that'll attach as a charm to the necklace that goes along with his his magical item.
Okay, yeah. You pull off a charm out of one and you attach it to your necklace. Yolanthe, how about you? You wanted a necklace?
Yolanthe pokes her nose in the box and pulls one out, and then carries it over to Tess and kind of like whines at her to put it on.
Tess will put the necklace on her ever so gently. Careful, don't want to pinch you.
At this point, you guys can go ahead and add that to your inventory as whatever piece of jewelry of sending. So we'll just call it that for now. That's not technically what it is. It's like a whole new spell that we're devising here. Critical Role refers to that as a earring of whisper, but we're using it a little bit differently, as it's not necessarily an earring, so to speak. Balphalin touches the jewel on his horn. Captain, much has happened since we departed. He kind of goes into detail about the puzzles and the different things that you all have experienced since you've been away. Quite the tale. We've had a calm ride. Kimrim and Govin are here. I think you were already aware of that. The meeting with the Emperor went smoothly. We are well on our way to Shopabin, and set to meet you there. Hopefully, you'll be back before long, no? No telling. But we are safe. Well, that puts my mind at ease then. Please, contact me if anything happens. Of course. What? Did somebody say something? I didn't
I
hear
heard
it
something real quiet.
exactly.
I might have had something on here, but sorry about that.
Tess is going to touch her earring and say, "Thank you for the fancy jewelry, Antares. We love and miss you."
Be safe, Tess. Echoes back. You almost hear it like in your brain. It's kind of weird, kind of off-putting at first.
Do we all hear it, even if we're not touching the stone?
Yes, you all hear it, but you don't. You can't speak back unless you're touching the stone.
Okay, Yolanthe's ears are like swiveling constantly, and she keeps sniffing the ear.
Tess will stay safe. She promises.
Balphalin looks over toward the door. I suppose there's only one way to go. But we're looking for a rest before we continue on, yes?
It does sound important. The lady made it seem like we had quite a few hard trials ahead of us.
I'm wary about resting here, but I too could use at least a short rest. What say you? How long should you guys rest? So remember that a short rest is something around like the 1-2 hours mark, and then a long rest is more toward the like 8 hours.
I think we would only need a short rest.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll take the first watch. I don't even know that I can sleep here. This place is unsettling. Val sits down, pulls his sword out with a whetstone, and you hear the of the stone against the blade as you all kind of pull out your bed rolls and roll them out to sleep on the stone floor. There's a hearth nearby. No fire lit, but if any of you would like to light a fire to keep warm, that is a thing.
Is it particularly cold in that room?
I mean, yeah, underground. It's not like freezing or anything, but you know, it's kind of dank.
Yeah. Dang.
Rex gonna stay up as well. He's like, oh, I just got up, so I'm good to go. And he starts sorting through his gear and getting everything on.
Tess is going to immediately curl up and promptly pass out.
So this is about like a 1 hour rest. So everybody in the party can go ahead and put yourself in for a short rest. And with that said, let's go ahead and go to break right here, and we'll continue when we get back. So as you wake up from your short rest, Rek, you've taken the first watch. Valphalin actually was supposed to, but passed out during it. So luckily you were awake the entire time. Wakes up, Rek, I apologize. I'm not sure what happened.
It's all right, man. Looked like you needed it. I'm good.
Do the short rest thing. You notice that a lot of the group Rek is they're kind of injured. Tess has like kind of like scorch marks on her body, and Valphalin has some wounds as well, as does, I believe, Ian Fear. No, Ian Fear actually looks fine. Yolanthe also has some scratches and stuff.
Ian Fear is as handsome as ever.
Pretty much. Well, I suppose there's naught to do but to continue on, as the lady insisted, yes?
Just
What lady
15
now?
more minutes, please. Just 15 more. And Tess rolls over.
Rek, the lady had inquired of us the nature of a perhaps a friend of hers named Farika. Are you familiar with that name?
Oh. Not that I can think of.
Farika Malborn. You do instantly recognize the name Malborn as being one of the Dwarven Great Houses, firstly.
Okay. All right.
Not entirely sure what relevance this has to anything. But, and I didn't let on when we were speaking with her, but Farika is an old folk hero of the northern, the northern part of the continent here, namely Godbury and the like. Farika was a paladin who had stood during the Rockin' War. The Rockin' War was a time in history when the dwarves of the northern Siuk and Godbury, I should be saying this in Valor. The Rockin' War was a time in history when the dwarves of the northern mountains went to war with the dwarves from the desert. The Rockin dwarves, the desert dwarves, relied very heavily on the powers of necromancy. And it was thus that their disagreements led to an all-out dispute and eventually war. As the story goes, the necromancers of the Rockin dwarves laid siege to a city that was home to Faraka and her clan. They took the lot prisoner, and for months, Faraka endured torture, and her people faced death head on. But they all, showing strength and their aptitude for various holy magics, made their way back. They stole their way out of the camp and made their way back home and were hailed as heroes, and that's the end of the story. There are
Okay.
songs that bards sing about Faraka, and it is curious that the lady asks about this person. This was an ancient dwarf, I might add.
Would they be alive?
Absolutely not, no.
That's maybe ancestor?
This happened thousands of years ago, perhaps an ancestor.
Okay.
That would make our elven friend half dwarven, or at least some part dwarven.
Makes sense.
Interesting. You all start to kind of awaken and gather your things.
Tess sits up, finally. Ugh. The lady looked a little bit too tall to be considered dwarven, though.
The lady was clearly elvish, even stated herself as so.
Oh, were we not talking about the lady? Tess was still sleepy.
The lady had asked about this Faraka person. This maybe was a friend of hers.
Well, we elves are quite long-lived, so even, a matter of years could seem as but days or even moments, depending on
We
how long we've lived.
we also have no idea how the mirrored planes has an effect on aging.
That is true.
For all we know, the Kenku here could be thousands of years old.
Also fair. We know almost nothing of Scriteau. In fact, perhaps now is a good time to go back over what do we know about the Kenku.
Now, based off of what Scriteau told us, they are at least, working against their will. But according to the lady, they're able to move within the mirrored planes. We did see him when we first came through here, so I'm not sure.
It is interesting that someone can be both a captive and still able to move freely.
Tess is still not entirely sure the lady was telling the truth.
Oh, we also, when we came through the mirrors, we didn't see any true form of like guards or anything, at least initially. So maybe it's simply that the mirrored plane sort of doesn't have any sort of regulation, and the Kenku somehow are sort of coerced by the lady to do her bidding or any missions outside of her castle.
An interesting hypothesis.
Well, we
The lady-
we can speculate all we want. We just need to get a first-hand explanation.
You think as I do. The lady did say that once we traverse the next challenge, we would meet her at the top.
And more importantly, she would have answers. And she also told us that we may figure out her overall plan by enduring these trials.
Would there be a little bit of pause too? Because if the lady is somehow trapped within this castle, even though she appeared to us as in the form of an illusion, maybe she's looking for a way out by our means of getting in.
Another good point.
It occurs to me, however, that anyone looking for a way out would simply have to find the correct mirror. It would just be a game of numbers, which doesn't explain, well, our friend back there. He kind of looks back at Talanith, still kind of obviously unsure what to think about the drow. Talanith just kind of leans against the side of the door frame, flipping his dagger about.
There's one thing that Tess failed to bring up when we were talking to the lady. That was the fact that Tess distinctly remembers she promised somebody lots of riches, lots of wealth. But as far as we've learned, we've never confirmed that she did that. It seemed like she stabbed this person in the back, and she's going to pull her journal out, try to remember who she was referring to.
That would have been the summoner, Falkrun Drak, the one that summoned the demon in ancient times in Dintherum.
So why would she promise him endless riches and borderline immortality? There's something she's not telling us.
I agree. Something we have to find out when we get up there. We may have a lot to deal with. She, being able to cast an illusion of herself, seems a powerful sorceress.
Yes, even at my level of magic, I have not seen such. That's extremely powerful magics. We will have to be extra vigilant, not only through this castle, but in any dealings with her.
She did mention that she is very old and has been here for a very long time. In my reading, I would like to point out that the presence of a castle, even in a derelict place such as this, implies the presence of a civilization. I wonder what happened to that civilization.
It could be the Kenku.
It could be the Kenku. That is a very good observation, Tess. And one that I had not considered previous. This has given me some to think about, and you see like a billow of smoke come out of his nose.
As far as Tess understands when it comes to the Kenku, as far as her research after we met Skrito, sometimes the Kenku are people who have been cursed with wings that cannot fly.
I have read similar tales of the Kenku.
Either way, this is all speculation. We will not know until we get through all these trials. Tess is ready to go.
Valphalen kind of fitting that last plate onto his shoulder, straps it in. I too am ready to go. He sheathes his weapon. Rek, how are you?
I feel fine. I don't completely understand what's going on, but I mean, if Skrto's in danger, we can help him. If you say we're gonna get answers if we keep going, then I say we keep going.
What of you, Leolanthe?
Yolanthe barks and starts doing that little doggy dance thing going towards the door.
You're funny about failing. Doggy thinks it's a person.
I just imagine Yolanthe doing this like adorable tippy tap dance toward the door, and then Rek is like, knee slap her.
A tip, and a tip,
Some
tip,
tricks.
Ian Fear, are you sure about this?
There's not much that I am sure of, but what I do know is we don't have a lot of answers and we don't have a lot of options. The best bet for the moment seems to be to continue forward to see what we can learn.
Mescu, who is kind of like also leaning up against the side, takes a long puff from the pipe and whatever. Up we go then. Who's taking lead?
Tess will take lead.
Then I will be right behind you.
And Yolanthe will step up and walk alongside Tess.
Perhaps I should follow from the back just to make sure I can hopefully watch for any signs of magic.
With Rek right there in the mix. Got it. The chamber that you encounter after the set of stone stairs that lead up to the next level sorry, pulling up my notes here. So you come into a sort of smaller room, only a few. Well, it's big enough to house the lot of you, but as you walk in, you see several divots in a large sort of structure that lines the rear wall. A sort of griffin-esque face adorns the back wall, and in your mind, as you approach it, you hear each of the doors in this room lead to different challenges for members of your troop. The first door is the challenge of might. 2 of you may enter. The second door is the challenge of magic, of which 1 and only 1 may enter. The third door is the door of dexterity, of which 1 and only 1 may enter. And the fourth door is the door of wisdom, of which 1 and only 1 may enter. Along the sides of the chamber are 4 doors. Just as the thing describes, there is one door that shows the insignia of sort of like a muscular arm, and a second door shows sort of like a weird, like arcane looking symbol. The third door of which has a boot with some wings attached to it, and the fourth door is this door with a brain on it. Decide who will enter each room. Well, I, for one, am built for door number 1, I feel. Beck, I think we should go together. Would you agree?
Rek looks very thoughtful at the time, and he's looking at the rest of the group, and he's looking back, and he's like,
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm worried about everybody else.
I agree. I don't want to split the party.
We have to do what we have to do. No worries. Everyone will be fine. Tess, however, feels like she is built for the fourth door.
Yolanthe pads over to the door of dexterity and pokes her nose at it a little bit and sniffs.
Aimfer will say, and that leaves me with the talents of magic.
Well, if you need to swap, Ianfer, you just let me know.
Well, we do value your friendship quite strongly, Rek. I don't feel that your strength will avail you in this door.
All right.
Rek steps up to the door and pushes.
The door opens directly up. Valphalin follows you in, and at this point, I would like to go ahead and announce that we are going to kind of focus on the people who are in each individual room as we go through. So starting with this first room, which is the Challenge of Might. As you open the door, Rek, there is a kind of wider chamber within, across which stretches a very long and deep pit. To your left, on the platform nearest to the door, there is a huge 30-foot wide gate made of metal, and next to it a pool of water, underneath which you can kind of make out, just barely, you can make out what looks to be like a winch, or like a chain winch. Something that looks like it could be pulled. Beyond the gate, you can see these huge metal slabs, and they are very, very thick. They look extremely heavy. Interesting. A puzzle that requires intelligence to proceed. I would not have expected such in a challenge of might. What do you think, Rek?
Well, brain's a muscle too. Gotta flex. Urgh.
Fallon kind of walks over to the big gate and tries to lift it, but to no avail. He then kind of looks curiously about the rest of the surroundings and into the pool of water. Oh. I think the winch underneath this water may lift the gate. But one would have to hold their breath while they hold the gate up.
All right. I'll go for it. And he takes off most of his armor.
Rick, wait.
Pack at the side.
We don't know what we need to lift the gate for.
Well, I mean, we got to
Beyond
try
the gate. Beyond the gate are these giant stone slabs, and they're huge. They're like 30 feet wide, probably about the same like width, and height wise, they're around 10 feet apiece. Otherwise, they look like they're about the length of the pit, so to speak, and height wise. Perhaps if you stack them, they might fill in the entire pit.
Looking at the gate, does it look like it comes like it drops down and should raise back up, or
It does. We may. Perhaps we can both lift the gate.
step over to it?
Val steps over to it as well. Go ahead and roll a strength check for me.
All right.
Val's going to go ahead and roll a strength check as
Ability
well.
check. I get it. Taking this with advantage. Ouch.
Also, ouch. You start to lift the gate. It does not budge whatsoever. The winch may be the only way, but it seems we need one person to hold the gate, and the other person should move these blocks into the pit. Would you agree?
Maybe.
Do you have another thought?
So if the winch, like, is the chain just like roll up onto a spool?
Yeah, it's it seems to come out of the same wall that houses the gate, but that part of the wall is both underground from your perspective as well as underwater. So even if you were to pull it to its furthest length, you would still be fully submerged in water.
I was gonna say, I can take my shield or a warhammer and wedge it into the chain once we get it pulled. Hold it in place.
That seems worth a try. I will go down and pull the winch into place. And once I have it fully out, we'll try to wedge it into place, shall we?
I'll go down in the water with you.
So you're both gonna like pull the winch out? Okay.
Or at least I'll help him with it, and then if he's holding it, I can shove the shove my shield into the gap or put my warhammer through the chain to hold it in place to where it
Go
takes
ahead
the
and
weight
roll.
off of it. So
Go ahead
I
and
can give
roll
him advantage or
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a normal strength check. This is for pulling the winch out. Phase 1 of this plan. Unless you're raging, in which case, I don't really know what there would be to rage about, though. 14, though. 13 plus 14. So you both kind of pull at that chain. You realize kind of fairly quickly that you run out of oxygen. And so I'd like you to go ahead and roll a constitution check.
check or
This
saving
one will
throw?
also, this will be a check, and it will be a normal check.
Okay.
Right, you see Valfailing kind of like lose some like bubbles kind of come up through his mouth. But he looks at you and he continues to pull, his eyes sort of becoming very determined until you feel the winch come to its end. You were still both fully submerged underwater.
Mm-hmm.
And he vaguely gestures.
All right. I try to shove the handle of my warhammer through the chain to hold the spool in place.
You put the handle of the warhammer through the chain and you try to kind of affix it to the ground underneath. But as you do, that chain pulls that warhammer forward and that gate starts to shut slowly. You hear Val failing.
All right. I'll go ahead and grab hold of the chain. I push him off and motion for him to go up, and I'll hold it. So with my aspect of the beast ability for the bear, my carrying capacity is doubled, and I have advantage on strength checks made to push, pull, lift, and break objects, even without raging.
Hey.
So not a problem for you to actually pull this winch back into place.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is not strength in this case. It is actually constitution. So I'd like you to go ahead and roll a constitution check to see if you're able to continue holding your breath.
That's fine.
You actually immediately start to kind of like lose your breath underneath this thing, and you feel like you need to surface for air or else you're going to start drowning. Valfailen, on the other hand, still clenching this winch. He kind of holds it in place, plants his feet down, and looks at you underneath the water and nods and gestures up toward the gate.
All right, Rec will let go and swim up to the top.
As you let go, you see Valfailen kind of plant his feet and close his eyes. And he sits almost like a statue, just holding this thing.
Rec
Inside. Oh, go ahead.
When Rec gets to the top, he's going to try to wedge himself to hold the gate.
So the gate seems pretty steady in this case, but inside the gate is a room that has these very large not metallic, but stone slabs that appear like they need to be moved.
Surveying one more time, looking around to make sure he's not missing anything else here.
No, that's all that's in here.
All right, then he's going to start pushing the stones towards the pit.
Okay, I'd like you to go ahead and roll a strength check. And if you've got anything that would give you advantage on lifting or pushing a heavy thing,
Yeah,
then
my
you may go
aspect
ahead and
is
roll with
better then.
advantage.
All
Yep.
right. 20.
So you start pushing this first slab, and it's the one that's sitting on top of these 3 slabs. You push it toward the pit, and it easily comes out of the from underneath the portcullis. And as you push it over the edge, just kind of like hits the bottom, and dust flies up. But you see that it fits perfectly, like perfectly, into this pit.
All right. I'm going to step over and try for the second one.
Okay. Failing goes ahead and rolls a. So you see Valphalin still in his stance, and it almost looks like he's in a state of complete abandon. Like he just nothing else around him matters. He is a statue of a dragonborn, just holding this winch underneath the water. Occasionally you see a bubble come up, but you know time is of the essence here as you go back and begin to push and push against this huge stone pillar, and it barely wedges in between the gate, and you stop. It's fucking heavy. Go ahead and roll a strength check, please. This is a confirmation strength check. Nice. Very good confirmation. Although you start to feel exhausted at first, you are able to muscle through, and you push this thing and just shove it over the edge, and it lands squarely on top of the other pillar. There's probably about a 10 or 15 foot clearance at this point. One more of these things is probably going to do it. Go ahead and roll a strength check if you'd like to push that one too. Otherwise, there might be other ways over it, you know? Never know. With a 15, you start to push this. You start to push this, stone slab, and you get it almost all the way out the door, but you just feel that buckling on your muscles. These things are fucking heavy. And they drag against the dirt and push against you, constantly fighting with you. But knowing that your friend is in danger here, you try to continue to muscle through. You gain 1 point of exhaustion. So go ahead and I can actually put in the 1 point of exhaustion for you. Go ahead and roll another strength check. You continue to push and push, and the thing moves about 10 feet, and you have it so close to the edge, so close. Oh, but your muscles are giving out. It's so difficult. Go ahead and roll one more strength check, this time with disadvantage because you are now at exhaustion level 2. Al's going to go ahead and roll a constitution check. Oh. Valphalin, you see a bunch of bubbles just kind of escape the water above him. He continues to hold tight, and he's going to go ahead and take some damage here. So that's going to be roll a 1. No, it's actually going to be 4d4. So 9 damage. All right, Rek, you've got a 14.
On my disadvantage.
All right, you continue to push and push and push this fucking stone, and it finally into the pit, creating a pretty flat surface across the top that you could just walk across to go grab the artifact you need.
All right, now I jump back in the water and try to pull Valphalin up.
Go ahead and roll one final strength check. With disadvantage, if you please. it doesn't take much, but you do pull Valphalin out. It takes you a little bit of time, and it looks like he does kind of gulp some air. By the time you get him out, he is unconscious and laying there. He doesn't look like he's breathing.
I turn him over and just start punching him in the gut.
I'd like you to go ahead and roll a
Rude.
survival check. Nice. So you kind of understand what's going on because you've seen a couple of your tribe this happen to them before. And you remember what the elders did to solve the problem. So you kind of took your own approach to this, but it actually does work. And you see him cough up some of the water and his eyes open, and he says, "Thank you." He looks absolutely exhausted.
We did it. And I motion over towards the opening that it's now covered in.
Now the real
Go.
trial is getting him back out of the pit.
Take the artifact. We'll leave together.
All right. Breck walks over and
As you walk over, the artifact itself is sort of like a big brass-looking gear, and it's set into stone, but a light is shining on it, showing that this is the goal that you are after for this particular puzzle. And as you unhinge it from its mount, the entire, like, the water begins to drain in the pit, and the door behind you slides open. Good job, my friend. You're both extremely tired.
mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go ahead and cut over to Ian Fear. Ian Fear, you carefully crack open this door, donning the obvious arcane symbol. And as you do, you witness this very small chamber. It's probably about 10 feet across by 10 feet long. And on the other side of it, a door. A double door, in fact, 10 feet wide, with 3 runes inscribed in it. As you approach, the runes almost seem unintelligible, but a blue, almost electrical light reaches out, and it parses the sides of your head and the front of your head. And then the runes begin to populate. The first is what looks like sort of a fiery fireball inscribed in the door. The second rune shows a sort of nebulous pattern of colors, and the colors on the rune, as you move about, seem to shift and change in a mesmerizing way. You almost get lost in the pattern of the colors in this rune. However, you, keeping your goal at hand, look to the third rune that is of a green sphere dripping with this strange material.
All right. So you said these runes were over each sort of door?
There's one door with 3 runes inscribed in it. So
Okay.
the runes, there's kind of like a first, second, and third rune if you're going from left to right.
And then in order, sort of from left to right, was this fireball, the pattern of colors, and then the green sphere?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything else in the room?
The room otherwise seems to be completely blank,
Okay.
devoid of content. Stone walls, stone floor, stone ceiling. It's kind of a small chamber otherwise.
So, Fear is gonna sort of clear a bit of space between him and the door. His eyes are gonna sort of start to glow. The hair is gonna start to like sparkle and get extra shiny, and he's going to incant Moscon Lin. And this is the fire bolt cantrip. Let me see if I put it in here. And it's going to aim towards like the floor.
You're aiming it toward the floor?
Maybe towards the first rune.
You easily invoke the firebolt, and it being a non-moving target, you don't need to roll an attack roll or anything like that. It's non-moving. It's not actively trying to dodge you. You cast a firebolt into this rune. The rune just seems to like absorb it and then starts to glow with that fiery power. The second and third runes remain rather dark.
All right. So this will be a little odd, I think. But we will try this. All right. And then Fear is going to sort of it'll go sort of like his eyes will actually start to get brighter, and he's going to say, oh, hang on, that's why.
Leshanas Dorothy.
And he's gonna invoke the hypnotic pattern.
All right. Can you go ahead and link that?
Yeah,
chat?
well, give me a sec, cause
Hypnotic pattern. Go ahead and roll a wild magic surge.
all right, well, give me a second, because it wants me to place a square on the landing page.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, go ahead and place the square. We'll just delete it afterward. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, never mind. That put me on this thing. All right. All right. And then, and yeah, this is third level. Third level, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to go ahead and, yep. Go. So you've got a 9, and the goal here is to roll lower than your spell save DC. When you roll plus your modifier.
So the level modifier was 3.
So 9, 10,
then-
11, 12.
I
What is your
believe
spell save DC?
16. I think it's 16.
This would be a pass. You channel this hypnotic pattern, and the colors, the chaotic colors, twist and weave through the air, and then a strange thing happens where where the colors line up exactly with this glyph, and they synchronize, and you hear almost like a clock as that rune starts to pulse with energy. One rune remains.
And then In Fear is gonna be like now suddenly like his hair is almost gonna like stand on end at this point when he's sort of like as if like this is gonna be total concentration. And then he's gonna say,
Hey, what?
and he's gonna cast the Vitriolic Sphere.
Vitriolic Sphere. Go ahead and roll a Wild Magic Surge.
All right. And then yeah, and with the spell level it's 4, so that's 7, but yeah.
That passes. Using every ounce of energy that you can muster, you summon forth this sphere of acid. It drips with this fucking gross nastiness, and you cast it out toward this last rune, and it locks in, and you see that there's almost like a point where the metal like reaches out and grabs it and pulls it in. All 3 runes now glowing. You hear a ka-chunk, and the door starts to slide open, showing behind it a big brass gear laid into a stone platform.
So question for game mechanics, because one of the things about I was going to bring about is I had used Tides of Chaos in the last session. Normally it won't come back except after a long rest, but I can regain the use of the feature if I roll on the Wild Magic Serve table. Would that trigger the return of the Tides of Chaos from this?
That is correct, yes.
All right. All right, so then, yeah, Ian Fear is going to go head towards this gear and try to pull it out.
You pull it out from the easily from the indentation in the wall. It's kind of a medium-sized gear. You know that this fits one of the indentations previously stated in the other room. Apologize for the technical difficulties, but yeah, I had to reload everything. That's great. All right, so that brings us to the next challenge. Eulanthi, the door before you bears the insignia of a boot with wings attached. And as you crack the door open, it creaks. And before you is a huge open chamber with various stones that are laid out about it. As that door opens, you hear a clockwork and a grinding happening as a cage, a giant cage in the center of the room comes down. And this being in the center of this cage, trapped within, is a large circular being with these stalks, with connected eyes peering around in all corners.
Yolanthe
let me
flattens
give
her
you-
ears and tucks her tail a little bit.
I'm actually going to go ahead and give you a map for this one. So here we go. I realize that everybody will not be able to see this one. So feel free to go back to the landing page if you're not able to. But
It says I don't have any token with vision in this scene.
that is because you do not have a token with vision until I plant it.
Ah, gotcha.
Now, there we go. Now you should have a token with vision, hopefully.
I see black.
Okay, let me try this. Let me put Yolanthe in.
Yeah, now I see it.
Okay, now you can see. Okay, now let me do a wild shape form on you because you were in wolf form. Werewolf. And that's wild shape. Did that work?
Yes.
This is the room you see, Yolanthe. It's lit by torches attached to the cave in the center here, but a beholder sits within the cave, looking around warily for any intruders who might have come into the room. For now, doesn't seem to
Yolanthe
notice
immediately
you.
hunkers down onto her belly.
A stone nearby the door allows you full cover from this thing as you pull up close to it and kind of peer over the edge. Somehow, at the other side of this room, the fixture with the gear. What will you do?
Okay, so how big are the stones?
Oh, the stones seem to be a good 6 feet tall each, but each one of varying width. So as you can see planted out there on the map, some are about 10, 15 feet in width, some more like 5 feet.
And how big is the cage? Like, how tall is it?
The cage itself looks to be around, let's say 10 feet tall by, what is it? Well, let's say 20 feet tall by 5, 10, 20 feet wide.
Okay. And the top of the cage, is it solid or is it bars all across?
The top of the cage seems to be obscured by the top of the room itself, as the cage has been like kind of let down from the ceiling in this case. It doesn't seem to be dangling from a wire or anything like that, but you cannot see above the threshold of the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Yolanthe is going to try to sneak over to the rock, the next rock over. I assume I'd have to roll stealth.
Yep, go ahead and roll stealth on that.
The song sounds like I really like this song, but it sounds a lot like something you would hear in like a Spyro the Dragon game.
How do you move the character sheet on Foundry up a
To
little
me,
bit
it sounds
higher
like
so that
Mission
you can
Impossible.
reach down to stealth? Because I can't get to it.
You should be able to. You should be able to scroll up and down with your mouse wheel. Otherwise, I can do it for you if it's not working.
It's just that the character sheet is like set to where I can't move it anywhere or like move it up and down, and I can't scroll
weird.
on it to like I can't go any lower than sleight of hand for some reason.
I can do a normal stealth check for you if you'd like.
You might have to.
Damn. Okay. I'm actually kind of curious about this. Oh, okay. Well, 17. We're gonna say you go ahead and make your way over to these rocks over here. Yeah.
Okay.
And drag your character into the position you want them to take.
and peeks up just a little bit above the rock to see if the beholder's looking in this direction.
Beholder seems to be turned around and looking in pretty much every other direction, just moving to all the different sides of the cage, just looking around in general.
Okay.
You made it, and you're hiding behind these rocks.
Do what?
I said you made it, and you're hiding behind these rocks, but the next rock, if you're going in that direction, looks a little bit small for your big form.
Okay. If the beholder is looking, or is the majority of it's looking in the other direction, Yolanthe will want to try to jump onto this rock here. And then hopefully from there on top of the cage.
You're trying to jump on top of the cage?
Yes.
Are you trying to like stealth, or how are you doing this?
Basically, if the top of the cage is not made of bars, if it's solid,
It is.
she wants to run across it to the rocks in the back of the room.
Okay, so trying to stealth the entire way then?
Ideally, yes.
Go ahead and roll it.
Except I still can't stealth. But do I need to roll acrobatics or something to hop onto the rock and then onto the cage?
No, not in this case. In your wolf form, you have plenty of acrobatics to be able to make it up there. That's not something that I think that you need to roll on, but I will go ahead and roll stealth for you. So here's
Okay,
a normal stealth roll.
Okay.
You make your way up to the second rock when this beholder locks in on you, and you hear, and it like points all of its eyes toward you, and one beam starts to shoot toward that rock. One moment. Not sure how this is actually working, but man, there are a lot of beams here. This was actually going to be a disadvantage roll, so we're going to roll this. Oh, that's damage. That's not what we're trying to do.
Those dice are so pretty. Oh
They
my
look like
god.
velvet.
Yeah. Also, this song is a bop.
Okay, this I think is what I should have. Oh no, but what the fuck? How do you actually roll the attack roll on these?
You don't. She has to roll a saving throw.
Go ahead and roll a saving throw that is with advantage because you have half cover with this.
Okay, what saving throw am I rolling?
This is a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, wisdom
Oh,
saving
wisdom.
throw. I don't know why, but
Because it's an attack from the thing. It's a magical attack.
hold on.
Okay.
Give me a second here. Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to figure out why it's calling for a wisdom. Oh, because this was the charm ray. So it shoots out a ray from one of its eye stalks in your general direction. That ray strikes against the rock and does not hurt you whatsoever. It continues to kind of parse around the area looking for you, but you are tucked away as best as you can against this rock. It's kind of awkward though because you are so huge and this rock is just barely giving you cover.
It could also technically have been the fear ray potentially.
Yolanthe, is it still kind of swirling around in the cage?
It seems to be a little bit more fixated at this point.
Ah, shit. Okay, well, she's gonna forego her plan to leap from rock to cage and just try to make it to the next rock. Not worrying too much about stealth since it knows where she is.
That rock does not look like it has enough room to house you as a giant dire wolf. You will need to be something smaller in order to hide behind it.
I have 50 movement speed. If I use, do I have a dash action? Because I know I have.
Not while stealthing.
Not while stealthing. What if I decide to make a break for it instead of worrying about stealth? Because he already knows I'm here.
Then you would be able to make it double your movement speed.
Okay, I'd like to try to do that. I don't remember.
How would you like to pull this off?
Basically, just kind of running I can't figure out how to get the little arrow, but basically trying to run the perimeter of these rocks and try to, like, get at least to the ones here.
Okay, so you're going to try to make a break for these rocks over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could also point and if you hold the click on the mouse, it will give a little arrow thing on there or pointer thing.
You can also use the little measure distance tool, and that'll help you click and drag to figure out your travel distance.
If I ran like around the edges, yeah, like that, then I think I would have 50 feet if that's...
That looks like about 50. Let me go.
And with the dash action, I'd have a little bit more than that for sure. Fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah, you'll be able to make it up there, but you'll be seen the entire way through. This is going to provoke an attack of opportunity.
I ain't scared.
Go ahead and move your character.
Okay. Oop. Hold on. I'm doing something wrong here. There you go, Yolanthe, run. Like the wind. Okay.
So we got a D10 I've got to roll. Moment. I'm rolling that off screen. Oop. Go ahead and roll a DC 16 wisdom saving throw.
Advantage, disadvantage, normal?
Normal. On your way there, the beholder strikes you with one beam that causes you to feel very sleepy.
Oh,
While you make it to the end of the rocks, you fall asleep
shit.
behind those rocks.
Are they at least enough to provide cover?
You are under full cover, so he cannot hit you from here, but we are going to go ahead and shift back over.
Okay.
That's going to take a while for you to come out of.
It's kind of funny that I've chose the dexterity room, and I think I've rolled everything except for dexterity.
Well, stealth is a dexterity check.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. That's true.
the last room, Tess, is the room that has the weird, like, brain insignia upon the door. And as you
In typical fashion, Tess is going to kick the door open.
go ahead and roll a strength check.
Okay.
Oh my god, 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 oh my god. This is gonna be
What was it? Oh, it was strength. Okay.
yeah, it's a strength check.
Right off its hinges.
You
Boom.
kick the door, it fucking flies open. Tess is here. The room opens to a very, very dark. You're not even able to tell like where the walls are in this place, but as you step inside, the darkness overtakes you. And for a moment, you feel like you're floating.
Okay.
Tess. Voice echoes in your mind. You, with your infinite wisdom, must know the outcome of each of the following scenarios. Everything fades to black, and then before you, there's an image of the paladin Antarius, his weapon and shield drawn, looking on to a group of goblins who seem to be blocking the way for him onto a exit, a great field. What action? What actions would your friend take here? At this point, you can go ahead and roll a wisdom check if you'd like to sense the intentions of the person that you're trying to sense the actions of. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to guess what he would do. Well, the 15?
Yeah.
You can pretty easily see Antarius sheathing his weapons and taking a peaceful approach to getting past the goblins.
Not knowing how to communicate with this voice, Tess will just speak out loud. Tess knows that Antharius would never seek out further conflict that is unnecessary.
You see Antarius sheath his weapons, stow his shield, and approach the goblins in peace. And somehow, the goblins allow him past. The scene fades to black. Another scene is prompted to you. This time it's Kimram Godbury. And there is a very intricate looking trap before her. And on one side, a book, ornate and very intricate. And on the other side, a goblet made fully of gold with jewels inlaid all around.
No, Kimmerim has always been interested in the history. She would go for the book.
Kimrim reaches out, grabs the book, and pulls it toward her. And as she does, a giant claw comes down and closes around the goblet. She's safe, and the scene fades to black once more. Finally, you're left with a scene of Valphalin, his sword and shield drawn. And you see on one side 2 other dragonborn, older, and that Valphalin looks on with some sort of very passionate fondness. They both look exactly like Valphalin, but perhaps parents? On the other side, yourself, Tess, dangles over a pit of lava in a cage. And in your mind, you know, which side does Valphalin choose?
Tess is having to think about this quite a bit. But as far as Tess knows, from what Val has told her in the past, he's never met his actual family. So she fully thinks that Val would probably choose to save his friend.
Again, you are able to roll an insight to see what the intention of the character would be.
I'm just gonna roll with my gut here.
That would be a wisdom saving, but it's an insight, which is wisdom.
Okay, so wisdom saving throw.
Or an insight check. You honestly can't tell either way.
I guess I'm not understanding what I'm supposed to do here. Like, am I supposed to move to one part, or
The objective here is to state which you think that Valphalin would choose, whether it is to save Tess or to meet his parents. But know that Valphalin also faces the choice of Tess dying or meeting his parents.
Yeah. I guess I'll use my inspiration here.
Okay.
To re-roll that wisdom check.
But you have to keep the new check.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oof. Oof. Inspiration's not treating us very nicely. Tess is just going to go with the belief that Val would save her because he's never met his parents.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. As much as as much as it will hurt, yes.
Valphalin looks back toward his parents, who start to fade out into blackness as he goes, "Tess, no!" and plucks the cage from its falling the room fades to dark. You apparently guessed correctly because from the darkness appears a great cog laid into stone.
Am I free enough to grab that cog?
Yes.
Okay. Tess will grab the cog.
That's doing really well. Wow. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yolanthe. You are the one that's left.
Yeah. So how do I wake up? Don't I have to
You
be
wake
attacked
up
or something?
hearing these against the back of this rock that you are leaning against. You realize that the beholder is just spraying this rock with every single beam that it's got. But before you, and just 5 feet in front of you, lies this artifact. But if you poke your head out now, that could be it.
Okay, Yolanthe kind of shakes her head and sighs, and then she de-wolfs.
You shrink back down into your 5 foot by 5 foot form. That's not exact, of course, but you take up less space as an elf, and you lean your back against these rocks. You know you're safe for the time being, but should you make a dash for that artifact, it could very well be your end.
Okay, Yolanthe wants to reach up to her necklace and whisper a spell. She's going to cast Pass Without Trace.
Go ahead and yeah, I see you. While you feel that you are masked with that radiating energy, the beams cutting over this rock still block your path.
Okay,
If you step out now, it's over.
Would I be able to get back to one of the rocks over to this side? If I, duck down?
Would require a stealth check, which in this case has a +10 bonus.
Okay. I still can't reach my stealth on my sheet. This is annoying.
No problem. I got it. I don't know why that's happening for you, but
Yeah, it won't let me scroll down on it.
giving you the advantage on it. And then the +10 makes that a 22.
Okay, Yolanthe would like to go back to one of these other rocks and kind of duck down below it.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. You duck down below the rock. The beholder seems to still be focused on the rocks nearest the artifact. Some of the beams you see trace actually over the pedestal on the artifact, but don't seem to destroy it in any way. You notice that one of the eye stalks has not been firing.
Hmm.
Having just gotten out of her door, Tess is going to notice that Yolanthe is not present. Can she touch her earring and see if she can contact Yolanthe? Like,
Yes.
Shh.
I mean, I wouldn't do
Yolanthe.
that. No,
Yolanthe,
don't
are
do
you
that.
there? Are you there?
Yolanthe covers the jewel and goes.
Doesn't seem like you were noticed.
Okay. Oh man. I don't know what to do. Yolanthe kind of glances over at the beholder and then kind of slides back down beyond the rock and tries to whisper into the stone. I think I'm stuck.
What's going on? Are you okay? Are you safe?
I am for now, but there's a beholder in here.
Everyone, as
I
you
can't get
come
past
out of
it.
your rooms into the main hall area, there is a giant, almost like a portal, but it shows the image of the room that Yolanthe is in, with this beholder hanging out in this cage, firing its lasers at the northernmost rock. You can actually see where Yolanthe is in the room, ducked behind this rock and talking into her earring or her necklace.
Look around you. Do you see any loose debris? Can you distract it?
Perhaps you could kill it somehow.
I don't think I can kill that thing by myself.
Fair. If this door weren't locked, I'd be able to get in.
Hmm. I can get to the artifact easily if it weren't for it shooting its beams. I just need to figure out a way to get it to stop.
Perhaps distracting it?
Maybe.
Do you
Maybe
have
blocking it.
a rock you can throw, or some other
Yeah.
spell that could create some
Yolanthe
kind
kind of
of
looks
distraction?
down a little bit, and then she kind of thinks for a second, then she says, I can do better than a rock. And she kind of leans across the rock she's hiding behind and points at a little spot just beside the beholder and cast Dust Devil inside the cage.
Can you link it?
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I hope this thing's not very dexterous.
Holy shit.
Oh wait, I didn't mean to cast whatever that is. There's like a little sparkle. Is that the beholder?
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. But either way, this is a dexterity save, yeah?
Yes, 15.
Oh no, must make a strength saving throw.
Oh, I think I'm seeing what you're
Oh, shit,
seeing.
you're right.
It's like a purple. It's like
Where?
two blocks of purple on the map.
Oh, on my screen it's showing like a little firework looking thing.
Well, yeah, that's it's a little area effect because that Dust Devil is sort of.
Yeah, it has an area of effect, yeah.
Well then I cast it in the wrong spot. Shit.
And
If you wanna move it
It's
to the right
supposed to be
spot,
in the
you can.
cage.
Yeah, no, if you want to move it, go
I
ahead.
can't move it.
Here I got it. Gotcha. Where are you putting it?
Like right under the beholder, or like right on it.
Here.
In the cage, basically.
Yeah, cool. So that beholder must roll a Q.
Saving throw.
Yeah, it looks like a strength saving throw. What's your spell save DC?
15.
That is a fail. Creature takes 1d8 bludgeoning damage and is pushed 10 feet away. On a successful save, the creature takes okay.
Woo!
So we got roll 1d8. That is the bludgeoning damage there. Or actually, I guess I could have just done this and gotten the actual bludgeoning damage, which is actually 5. And it's pushed 10 feet away. We're going to say that is to the south. Because there's not really 10 feet away that it can actually move. But,
Can it smack into the cage and take more bludgeoning damage?
but it smacks into the cage, and more importantly, it stops shooting.
Yeah.
Just a moment.
Okay. Do I still have movement or no?
You do. You've got your full movement.
I'm gonna do a dash. Oh, I can't do dash, huh? Because I already
Yep, you're
cast.
fine. Do a dash.
Okay, then I'm gonna dash to the thing, do a yoink.
And no sooner than you pull that fucking cog out
No,
of
don't tell me the
its-
cage opens. Oh my god.
The cage actually slides up into
Oh,
the
okay.
ceiling, and a panel slides over it, obscuring the beholder from view.
Does my dust devil go with it?
Your dust devil does go with it. Yeah, he's just gonna have to deal
suffering.
with that one.
He's just suffering with the dust devil.
But the room's now open. The entrance, the entrance door opens back up, and you can see your friends beyond.
Yolanthe sighs of relief and makes a quick break towards the door. Now in elf form, I guess.
So once she enters out from the doorway, Ian's going to say, "So you were stuck between a rock and a hard place, huh?"
Yolanthe looks kind of sad, but she hands over the artifact.
You make me sad.
She says, "Sorry, everyone. I couldn't do it by myself, I guess."
It seems to me you came up with that plan all your own.
Besides,
Yes, everything that you did was on your own. Tess was just checking on you.
besides, even if you didn't do it by yourself, it's okay to ask for help. We always need help at some point in our lives.
She looks
Oh.
down at the little gears and is like, "So what do these things do anyway?"
Well, it appears there are fixtures to which they affix here in the main door. Sure enough, there are like these like fixtures, each that take varying sizes of gears. One of each has the insignia that matches the door that you went through to begin with. Pretty obviously, you start to affix these fixtures to each of the indentations, and they easily fit inside, all opening up one final stone door that just lifts and creates a foreboding opening, beyond which you can clearly see a staircase.
No doubt to our next group trial, Tess will be the first one to walk up that staircase.
With Tess in the lead, we're going to go ahead and close out right here, as it is 8:02 p.m. for the night. Guys, it has been a wonderful session. I would like everyone in this room to go ahead and re-add inspiration, because you all did a wonderful job with your role play and with your various challenges. I really thought that these were going to be very, very difficult, and you guys passed them very well. So great job. To everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you have enjoyed the session today, because, man, I thought it was fun. And I hope that you'll tune in next time, when perhaps the party finally meets up with the lady. Perhaps we can get some answers. And until then, I am VGpunx, your most gracious, humble, and handsome DM. I'm signing off. Keep a song in your heart.
Bye.